I guess I might as well also share my experience with how restrooms have been working out for me. As I've said before, once I got my hair cut, that was it. Like, people started reading me as male. So, from the get-go, I had to use male restrooms, even like before testosterone, all that, which was nice, but also kind of difficult. I've always found it very weird when I walk into a restroom and there are guys using urinals, and then I go straight for a stall. A lot of times I overthink it. Like, if you just go in, go to the bathroom, and then leave, like, no one really noticed. But I've always just kind of been very apprehensive about that. So I usually either prefer, if I have to use restrooms that have lots of stalls and urinals, to either go when there's nobody in there, or when there's a lot of people in there. I know that it makes people nervous when there's a lot of people in there, but honestly, it's really easy to not be noticed and do your own thing when there's a bunch of people rather than 2 or 3. I always find it really awkward when there's just one other person in there. In the urinal, and I go to the stall, and I kind of freak out about it. I feel kind of nervous, and I'm like, well, what do I do now? So I tend to avoid that. If I see just like 1 or 2 people in a restroom, then I tend to just go and wash my hand, pretend that like I was going to wash my hands in the first place, and that's what I was going to do. I try and do that assessment really quickly when walking in, so that it's as smoothly as possible and I look like I know what I'm doing. Now that I've been at this university for a year, I kind of know where all of the gender-neutral bathrooms are, and the dorm that I'm living in has those. They're all single-stall, gender-neutral bathrooms, which is really nice. That's why I picked being here this year. I know certain areas that have one-stall bathrooms or gender-neutral bathrooms on campus, and generally, if I have to go to the bathroom, then I go there. It's kind of inconvenient that the music school I go to doesn't have anything like that. In fact, that's probably one of the most awkward bathrooms that I have problems with, is because it's like 3 stalls and 1 or 2 urinals, I think. It's more awkward when like I know people and I go in. So I tend to avoid areas that I know, which would usually be the music school. My dorm is close enough to the music school that if I really have to go to the bathroom, then I can just come here really quickly between classes and go back. Like, that's if I have to, but I usually don't have to. I've been a little bit better with the larger bathrooms, especially when traveling, because I've had to travel through our marching band a lot. And I did a road trip over Thanksgiving break with a friend of mine, and like we had to stop at a bunch of different bathrooms. I've been a little bit better with that. I was actually very proud of myself, because a few days ago I walked into the bathroom where there was 1 guy in a stall, 1 guy at a urinal, walked into one of the other stalls and I didn't have any problems. So I think I'm getting better at it. The social atmosphere of men's bathrooms is so much more low-key than women's bathrooms. No one is really looking out for someone being weird. They'll notice if you're nervous or if you seem uncomfortable with it. If you just go in, then they're just going in and doing their own business. They're just paying attention to themselves. If you look around like, oh, where do I go? Oh no, then you're going to get looks. As long as you're confident and give that air that you know what you're doing and that you belong there, that's usually the best way to go about it. Usually if you know you're going to be staying at a certain place for a really long time, it's best to like scope out the bathrooms, know which one's the busiest, which one's the least busy, and know if there are any like single-use restrooms.